everyone, this is Diane Nix with Contagious Joy. It's great to see you again. I haven't been online for a little while. We haven't sent you anything in the mail for about 2 or 3 weeks. But I want to share with you some things that God has been teaching me of late, and that is the subject of margins. First, I have to tell you a story about myself before I do that. And here is the story. I am sitting in my hallway when you might see some of these pieces of scrap lumber behind me. There's a reason for that. It's because I have been doing a project on my floors. I've been installing wood floors in my living room, or actually it's kind of a den family room, and a hallway into the kind of an open walkway into my bedroom. Now, for those of you who know me and are getting this email, even at this moment you're thinking, when did you have time? Well, I didn't. It was a spur of a moment decision to put these wood floors down. I mean, how hard could it be? It's an interlocking system. Certainly me, Diane Nix, could do it. I can slip these together. I forgot that you had to cut. My husband left for a ministry trip, a ministry reunion on Labor Day weekend, and when he left on Saturday, I went to Habitat for Humanity and bought the product, the wood floors, laminate wood floors to put down, and thought, I'll rip this out and have it put back in by Sunday afternoon when he gets home. Well, that's been since Labor Day. This is almost the end of September. The floors are down, but the trim is not done. Did I have time to do that? No, I didn't. And yesterday on the floor, on my hands and knees, when I am frustrated and have to take up a whole part of this floor, I sat down and then I laid down on my back and I began to scream at the Lord. Okay, I get it. I know I shouldn't have been doing this. I know this was the wrong time. I know I'm not feeling well. But can you just give me a break? Can you just let this be easy one time? Could it just be easy? Now, I know those of you that are organized out there and never overcommit yourself in any part of your life don't have a clue as to what I'm talking about, and certainly don't have a clue as to why someone like myself would spontaneously make a decision, put down a wood floor, and you're clicking me off right now. But there are many of you that understand me. You see, this wood floor has been brewing for a long time, and when the dog had an accident on it, for a really bad accident, for the last time, I went, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to get this project done. Now, it was not a good decision. I don't know, maybe it's a time of my life. I'm having a very significant birthday this fall, and I think I'm struggling with that a little bit. I've really been thinking about this. What are my margins? Everywhere I go, someone's talking to me about boundaries and margins. My husband and I recently had a discussion about margins, and we discovered that in our lives, in a very difficult time in our lives, God used a scripture that profoundly affected us and helped us to build wide margins in our lives. And I've been thinking about that for a long time, but especially in the last 2 or 3 days. Well, the floor is down, as I told you, and we still have some trim to do. There's a couple of places that I've got to do. But this scripture says this, stand still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10, verse 10. And the word picture there is with the warrior, the soldier, letting their arms hang limply down the other sides, looking up toward heaven with their eyes fixed on Jesus or fixed on God, when there's an all-out hellish war waging around them. It's a bloody war. In a very difficult time in our lives, God allowed my husband and I to build deep margins. You see, I know that my life is a story, and I'm on a journey in that story, and I'm allowing God to write that story through me when I'm walking in the Spirit, and I'm writing the pages of my story out in my life as I live it every day. The problem is, I think that I don't think I'm the only woman, but I think that we live such full-speed lives most of the time that we don't choose the discipline of building margins. It's easy to slip into that. Sometimes it's beyond your control. If catastrophe happens or you have sick children and you're a young mom or other things happen, it's difficult to carve out that time to build a deep, deep, wide margin. But here's maybe I'm confusing you. I hope that I'm not. But for me, a deep margin helps you center and focus on what is written on the page. It might not be very much, but usually it's pretty significant. Because when you don't have much space to write or to live out the life, because of the time you've spent in your margin, building margins, you're able to do more in less space, write more in less space, live out more in less space. I think that's the whole point of Mary and Martha. Martha, who was so busy with so many things, and yet Jesus said that Mary had chosen the best part, or the better part, and she would be remembered for always for that. I think about when Lazarus died, and Martha is running around taking care of the mourners, managing everything, and what does Mary do? She falls on the face before Jesus. Now Martha goes out and says the very same thing, the very same words as Mary does. So you've got the psalmist in the Old Testament that says, in the midst of great war, in the midst of great strife, in the midst of chaos, stand still and know that I'm God. And you have Mary at the feet of Jesus. When he's in her house, she's not running around making certain he's got everything done. She's seated at his feet, hearing everything he has to say. So I guess my point would be, I've got some beautiful floors right now. I've got a scratchy throat, and I've got more on my list than I can get done. Then am I building margins? Am I building a great, huge margin of time away with my God, my Abba, Daddy God? And I'm God adopted into his family, and I can cry out to him, Abba. I just want to challenge you. Don't get hung up on my floors, but you got your own floors. I want to challenge us in the coming days. As ministers' wives, don't get pulled or dragged into whatever thing everybody wants you to do. The most important thing we can do is be with God and take care of our husband and our children and build big margins, so that when people look at our lives, when it's said and done, it may not be much, but it will be so important.